Let's walk you through the timeline of this solar eclipse. This is for Little Rock now. There you see, eclipse glasses need to be worn. 12:33, the eclipse starts to begin. So when you put on your eclipse glasses, say around 12:35, 12:36, you're going to see the disk of the sun. It's going to probably look pretty orange in it, and then you'll see pretty much a semicircle or a little bite of the sun starting to disappear as the moon's shadow is making its way across the sun's disk. But the most impressive event is going to be, once again, totality, 100% coverage. And there you see, you don't have to wear the glasses. This is the only time you can look directly at the sun when it is 100% covered. At 1:52 here at Little Rock, and then once the sun starts to reappear, put those glasses back on and keep them on. The eclipse will be entirely over by 3:11. Let's talk about the eclipse timeline, because there are several things that you could experience and you want to look for as long as skies are clear. 50 minutes before totality, there's going to be a decrease in solar energy. As the sun begins to disappear, the Earth's surface will not be able to absorb as much sunlight or sun's energy. So the air temperature will drop a few degrees. Could be 2 degrees at first, and then 100% coverage, the air temperature may drop 5, 6, 7, 8 degrees. And you may notice a difference out there. Also, if there's any puffy clouds, those clouds will probably weaken or actually disappear, and then they'll reform once again after the eclipse is done. 20 to 10 minutes before totality, the sky will become darker. You'll notice it gets a little more of a grayish hue to it, and the colors will become more gray. It's almost like your eyes are playing tricks on you. But also the animals and plants will be fooled as well. You'll notice the animals will act a little strange. They're getting ready for bed. The birds might go into the trees and stop singing. You may hear crickets and frogs start to make some sound because they're thinking nighttime is near. And also plants that bloom during the day, like tulips or morning glory, may start to close up. Other things to look for, 5 minutes before totality. Now this could be really interesting. If you're looking in a long, visible, got a lot of visibility to the horizon, you want to look for darkness, almost like an ominous look to the sky, as there be a darkening along the horizon with the moon's shadow approaching your location at over 1,600 miles per hour. So look out for that, as long as skies are clear. And 1 minute before totality, there could be some weird things that do happen with the light, because as the light starts to diminish more and more and more, those rays of light will interact with the Earth's atmosphere, and you'll see waves of light possibly on the ground and also on the walls. Another thing to keep in mind is if you're under a pretty shady tree, like a big deciduous maple or some other trees that have a lot of leaves to them, the cracks in between the leaves will act like pinhole projectors, and those will actually cast the eclipse on the ground. So you could see hundreds of eclipses with projections of the leaves as the light goes through those leaves, casting hundreds of projections on the ground. It's a very surreal effect. You could also witness the eclipse using a colander, because those pinholes in the colander will also produce tiny eclipses along the ground. This is what you really want to pay attention to. Seconds before totality. Still have to keep those eclipse glasses on for the diamond ring effect and also Bailey's beads. But the final rays of light, as they make their way around the valleys and the mountains of the moon, they'll find their way across and then eventually get to your eye, and it will produce what's known as the diamond ring effect and also Bailey's beads. And this is something everybody always watches out for just before totality. It only lasts a few seconds, so you have to pay attention and don't get distracted by your phone trying to capture a picture or anything like that. You really want to just take in this experience as much as possible, because it's not going to be happening for a long time after this. Totality. Now you can remove your eclipse glasses, and now you can look directly at the blocked sun. And what you will see is this white glow. That is the corona of the sun. That is the outermost layer of the sun, and it is very hot. But we do not see this on a normal day-to-day basis because it's blocked out by the rest of the sun's light. So the only time you can see this almost like angelic glow around the sun is during a total solar eclipse, as long as skies are clear. Also, you may be able to see a prominence or a burst of plasma from the sun that will link its way from one sunspot to the next. If it shoots out into space, it's known as a solar flare. So you could also see that as well. I told you how dark it's going to be. It's going to look like twilight out there. You might be able to see the planet Venus or even Jupiter and maybe some of the brightest stars in the sky just because it's going to get that dark. But it's all a wash if we have clouds in place. It will still get dark, but we won't be able to see the diamond ring effect, we won't be able to see the corona, we won't be able to see Bailey's beads if we have clouds in place. And hopefully that's not the case. But when we take a look at the breakdown now, this is for the cloud climatology of April 8th over the past 30 to 40 years using data from North Carolina State University, which is also teamed up with NOAA. And here's the breakdown of the sky conditions. 16% of those days or years were clear. 18% were few, but look at that, mostly cloudy and overcast. Those numbers are up there, and it's no surprise because April, of course, you have April showers, you have thunderstorms in April, you can have low clouds in April, but you can also have some really nice days in April. So hopefully we get a very nice day after cold front has made its way through, clears things out, and the visibility is just going to be fantastic because we don't want a lot of humidity out there either. But when you look at the statistics, here's the breakdown now. There is a 49% chance skies will be clear enough to see the eclipse on April 8th.